Hello there, and thank you for tuning in to another video. I would just like to thank everybody who commented on the previous video. Your feedback does really help, and it does mean a lot. And it's nice to know that I am heading in the right direction on this channel. But if anybody does have any more ideas, I'd be more than happy to try and do some videos for you. So just let me know in the comments. And today's video is going to be 81 out of this world facts about the moon. So without further ado, I'll begin with fact number 1. On average, the moon is 238,750 miles from Earth, or about 30 Earth widths away. Fact number 2. Most scientists believe the moon formed as a result of a giant impact, or giant whack. According to this theory, a Mars-sized planet struck a glancing blow to early Earth. The impact splashed off rocks and debris into space, forming a huge ring around the Earth that later clumped together to form the moon. Fact number 3. Not all moons are the same size. Their size varies depending on whether the moon is at its apogee or perigee. The moon is generally 14 times bigger when it's at its perigee. Fact number 4. When the moon is at its apogee, furthest from Earth, the tides and weather tend to be more predictable. When the moon is at its perigee, which means closest to Earth, the increased gravitational pull can create larger tides and more unstable weather. Fact number 5. The moon has had a violent history. It underwent what scientists call a late heavy bombardment, or lunar cataclysm, period somewhere between 3 and 4 billion years ago. During this time, the moon, and most likely Earth, was bombarded with meteorites. Fact number 6. The moon's core is 2 to 4% of its mass, whereas Earth's core is about 30% of its mass. Fact number 7. The moon is not round, it is shaped like an egg. Fact number 8. Moonquakes, which originate several miles below the moon's surface, may be a result of Earth's gravitational pull. Engineers say these quakes could become a factor if lunar bases are ever built on the moon. Fact number 9. When the moon formed 4.6 billion years ago, it was 14,000 miles from Earth. Now it's more than 280,000 miles away. The the moon look 3 times larger when it was closer to Earth? Fact number 10. Because the moon has no atmosphere, its temperature ranges from less than -2 Fahrenheit to more than 200 Fahrenheit. Fact number 11. The largest crater in the solar system is found on the moon, called the South Pole Atticon. This giant crater is on the far side of the moon and is 1,550 miles in diameter. The largest crater visible to Earth on the near side of the moon is the Bailey crater, with a 183-mile diameter. Fact number 12. The moon's diameter is 2,159 miles, roughly 4 times smaller than Earth, which is 7,926 miles. Fact number 13. If Earth were once a big ocean, the tidal bulge would travel once around Earth in every 24 hours and 50 minutes. That's the time of one moonrise to the next. Fact number 14. The moon's gravity has slowed the speed of Earth's rotation. Long ago it was much faster and days were much shorter. Fact number 15. Only 12 people have been on the moon. The astronauts on the Apollo mission from 1969 to 1972. And there is a little quote underneath here, what I will read out. I think we're going to the moon because it's in the nature of the human being to face challenges. It's by the nature of his deep inner soul we're required to do these things, just as the salmon swim upstream. Neil Armstrong. Fact number 16. The 6 Apollo crews came back to Earth with a total of 850 pounds, which is 385 kilograms of the moon. Fact number 17. Approximately 49 moons could fit into Earth. Fact number 18. The moon is 400 times smaller than the sun, but it is also 400 times closer to Earth. So from Earth, the moon and the sun look about the same size. Fact number 19. The entire surface of the moon is covered in a layer of crushed and powdered rocks called regolith. The dust is a result of millions of years of bombardment from space by tiny meteorites. Fact number 20. A solar eclipse happens every 1 or 2 years, but total eclipses can be seen by those within the moon's shadow only every few hundred years. The shadow cast by the moon races across the Earth at hundreds of miles per hour, so the eclipse is over within a couple of minutes. Fact number 21. From the moon, Earth is almost 4 times the size of a full moon from Earth, and it never moves across the moon's sky. Fact number 22. A lunar eclipse, when Earth passes between the Sun and the Moon, lasts longer than a solar eclipse because the Earth's shadow is so much larger. Fact number 23. Because the surface of the Moon has no wind or water, an astronaut's footprint could last for millions of years. Fact number 24. An annular eclipse occurs when the moon is too small to block the whole sun and leaves a ring of light visible. This eclipse happens because the moon's orbit is not a perfect circle, so when the moon is furthest away from the Earth, it appears smaller in the sky. Fact number 25. A full day on the moon, from one sunrise to the next, lasts about 29 Earth days on average. Fact number 26. Moonquakes reach a peak roughly every 14 days, which is when the moon is closest to and furthest away from the Earth. This is also when the tidal forces produced by Earth's gravity reach their peak. Fact number 27. Because there is no atmosphere on the moon, there is no twilight before nightfall. Fact number 28. Unlike the rising sun, which moves along the horizon in the same pattern every year, the rising moon follows a complex 18.6 year cycle. Ancient civilizations understood this complex cycle and built monuments that tracked the moon's movement. Fact number 29. The moon was worshipped by many cultures as a goddess. The ancient Greeks and Romans even had 3 lunar goddesses to represent the moon's changing phases. Artemis was the new moon, Selene was the full moon, and Hecate was the dark side of the moon. Fact number 30. The moon's phases have historically been linked with madness, and the word lunatic comes from this association. Fact number 31. The Earth is 81 times heavier than the moon. Fact number 32. A 13,000-year-old eagle, bone found in France, appears to have served as a counting stick to track the phases of the moon. 33. The oldest known map of the moon, about 5,000 years old, was found carved into a rock in a prehistoric tomb at North County Meath in Ireland. Before this was discovered, the oldest lunar map was by Leonardo da Vinci, which was created around 1505. Fact number 34. The first probe to reach the moon was the Soviet space probe Lunar 2. It crash landed on the moon in 1959. The first probe, Lunar 1, missed the moon by about 3,000 miles. Fact number 35. The Soviet Lunar 9 was the first soft landing on the lunar surface, proving that a stable landing on the moon was possible. Until then, astronomers worried that spacecraft might sink into the lunar surface. Fact number 36. Aristotle and Pliny the Elder believed that a full moon affected the water in a human's brain, causing insanity or irrational behaviour. Fact number 37. On November the 17th, 1970, the Soviet robot Lunar 1 was the first vehicle to travel on the moon. Fact number 38. At full and new moon, the moon and sun line up with the earth. The extra pull of gravity makes higher tides, called spring tides. At the moon's first and third quarters, when the sun and the moon form a right angle with earth, the tides are weaker and are called neap tides. Fact number 39. Before astronomers realised solar eclipses were caused by the moon, the Chinese thought an enormous dragon swallowed up the sun, and they made as much noise as possible to scare the dragon away. Fact number 40. The moon has just 1/6 the gravity of Earth, which means that the astronaut suits that weighed 178 pounds on Earth weighed only about 30 pounds on the moon. The high jump world record is about 8.2 feet. On the moon, that would have been 50 feet, which is 15 meters. Fact number 41. The same side of the moon always faces Earth because the moon takes the same length of time to rotate once as it does to travel all the way around the Earth. Fact number 42. From Earth, only 59% of the moon is visible. Fact number 43. Earth rotates 1,000 miles per hour. The moon rotates much slower at 10 miles per hour. Fact number 44. The phrase "once in a blue moon" traditionally refers to an impossible event or an event that rarely happens. The term blue moon has its roots in the Old English word belwe, or betrayal, because an extra full moon before Lent was viewed as a betrayer moon. others believe that Belway eventually morphed into the word blue in the mid-20th century. The Farmer's Almanac by Sky and Telescope magazine mistakenly defined a blue moon as a second full moon in a calendar month. The moon can actually appear blue if there are particles in the air that are larger than red light wavelength, 0.7 micron, which can occur during the volcanic eruptions or forest fires. Fact number 45. Scientists are unsure why the Maria, which make up 16% of the moon, is concentrated on the near side of the moon. The word Maria is Latin for seas, because early astronomers mistook them for actual seas. Fact number 46. Looking down from its north pole, the moon orbits counterclockwise from west to east. Fact number 47. Driving a car to the moon would take 130 days. A rocket would take 13 hours. Travelling by the speed of light would take 1.25 seconds. Fact number 48. An average desktop computer holds 5 to 10 times more computing power than was used to land a man on the moon. Fact number 49. The volume of Earth's moon is the same as the volume of the Pacific Ocean. Fact number 50. Easter is calculated based on the moon, the first holiday. The holiday is the first Sunday after the first Saturday, after the first full moon, after the equinox. Interestingly, as archetypical symbols of the feminine, fertility, rebirth, and the lunar cycle, rabbits have been associated with the moon in many mythic traditions. Fact number 51. According to the Outer Space Treaty, the moon is under the same jurisdiction as international waters. The treaty also says the moon can be used for peaceful purposes by all nations, and it prohibits weapons of mass destruction or military bases of any kind on the moon. Fact number 52. There are two basic types of terrain on the moon: bright and dark. The bright terrain is called highlands because it is higher in elevation. The dark terrain is called the Lunar Maria, Latin for seas, and is lower in elevation. The highlands are typically older than the Maria. Fact number 53. The gravitational force of the moon in relation to Earth's slows Earth's rotation by about 1.5 milliseconds per century and raises the moon into higher orbit by about 3.8 centimeters or 1.5 inches per year. Fact number 54. On July 20th, 1969, the Apollo 2 lunar module named Eagle landed on the moon. Neil Armstrong became the first person to set foot on the moon. The last person to stand on the moon's surface was Eugene Cernan in 1972. Fact number 55. In approximately 15 billion years, the moon and the Earth's gravitational pulls on each other would stabilise, but in approximately 7 billion years, the Sun will have become a red giant star, completely engulfing and incinerating the moon and the Earth. Fact number 56. A compass would not work on the moon because it has no global magnetic field. Fact number 57. The moon's rotation appears to wobble a bit, so that a little of the far side can sometimes be seen. However, most of the far side was completely unknown until the Soviets photographed it in 1959 with Lunar 3. Fact number 58. Although a full moon seems bright, it is actually reflecting just 7% of the sun's rays. Fact number 59. Strange coloured lights have sometimes been seen briefly on the moon's surface. Scientists believe these lights are made by gases that leak from deep inside the moon. Fact number 60. The word moon comes from the Latin word lunar, which means glowing or bright. The words month and menstruation are related to the word moon. Fact number 61. Apollo 11, the first manned mission to the moon, took about 4 days and 6 hours to get to the moon. Fact number 62. Mercury and Venus are the only planets in our solar system that have no moon. Fact number 63. Even though moons in the solar system are very different from one another, they have at least 2 things in common. They orbit a planet, and they only reflect light from the sun. Fact number 64, sorry. There are 3 kinds of moon rocks: basalt, dark, anorthosite, light, and breccia, a mixture of several rocks. These types of rocks are also found on Earth. Fact number 65. The dark side, or far side of the moon, is actually not always dark. It reflects light as often as the near side, once per lunar day. During the new moon phase, when the Earth-facing side is completely dark. And there's another little extra fact here in relation to that one. It says no human being has ever stood on the far side of the moon. Fact number 66. The moon is the 5th largest satellite in our solar system. It is the largest moon in relation to the size of its planet. It is the 2nd densest moon after Jupiter's moon Io. Fact number 67. Moon dust is said to smell like spent gunpowder. Fact number 68. Earth's moon doesn't orbit around Earth's equator like many other planets. Moon's it's inclined 20 to 30 degrees. Fact number 69. Tidal drag between the moon and the Earth eventually would lead Earth to match the speed of the moon. However, before that would happen, the sun would have become a red giant, engulfing and incinerating the Earth. Fact number 70. In 500 million years, the moon will be 14,600 miles further away than it is right now. When it is that far, total eclipses will not take place. Fact number 71. It wasn't until 1665 that scientists realised that other moons orbited other planets. Earth's moon's official name then became a capitalised moon. Fact number 72. A full moon is about 5 times brighter than a half moon. Fact number 73. In November 2009, NASA declared that it had discovered water on the moon that could allow for the development of a space station on the moon. The water is billions of years old, which could give scientific clues on the history of the solar system. Fact number 74. The first person to draw a map of the moon as it appears through a telescope was British astronomer Thomas Harriot. He lived from 1560 to 1621. And there's another extra bit of the fact here. It says, Harriot, the first person to make a drawing of the moon through a telescope on the 26th of July 1609, which is more than 4 months before Galileo. Fact number 75. The moon's crust is thicker on the far side. Scientists are unsure why, though they speculate that the near side feels more gravity from Earth. Fact number 76. In astrology, the moon represents the inner nature of a person. The moon sign reveals a person's emotional and subconscious state. In Western astrology, the moon is associated with the maternal, while the sun is associated with the fatherhood. Fact number 77. According to many stories across cultures, the man in the moon was placed in the moon for stealing. Different cultures offer various descriptions of what he stole, ranging from a hedgerow to sheep to trying to steal the moon itself. Fact number 78. The only person ever to play golf on the moon was Alan Shepard. His golf ball was never found. Fact number 79. Moonglade is the bright reflection of the moon's light on an expanse of water. Fact number 80. The moon has Wi-Fi. It comes all the way from Earth, beamed by 4 infrared telescopes. And the final fact is fact number 81. Cell phones today are 400 times more powerful than the computer that helped to guide humans to the moon. Okay, that is the end of this video. I hope you did enjoy it, and I hope to see you on the next video.